global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. In recent time, the NBA, I'm talking about the Nigerian National Broadcasting Commission, had increased hiked the fine for hate speech from 500,000 to 5 million naira. Although NBC said that it was done solely by Lai Mohammad, who happens to be the Minister of Communication and Culture. Minister of Information rather and Culture. But then whether we like it or yes, right now this is where we are as a nation. 5 million for hate speech, especially in NBC. Now, but a lawyer has come in and said, look, this is getting too far, and have decided to sue the federal government and also to sue Lai Mohammad. Well, before we go to the news proper and further analysis, we'd like you to subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button and the bell notification icon to get both subscribed and notified as soon as we update our channel. Well, a human rights lawyer in Enibi, Effiong, has sued the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammad, and the federal government and the National Broadcasting Commission for arbitrarily amending the broadcast code and hiking the fine for hate speech from 500,000 naira to 5 million naira. And the originating motion filed before a federal high court in Lagos, Effiong challenged the imposition of 5 million fine on Nigeria Info 99.3 FM, very good, Lagos, and the threat by NBC to punish other broadcast stations in the country over alleged hate speech. The suit comes barely days after NBC fined Nigeria Info for granting an interview to a former deputy governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Dr. Obadiah Melafia, who claimed that an unidentified northern governor was a Boko Haram commander. The NBC had threatened that any TV or radio station that allows elected officials to be insulted on its platform will be fined 5 million naira or be shut down. The NBC board had also alleged that Mohammed hijacked the responsibility of the NBC and unilaterally hiked the fine for his speech without consultation. Effiong, in his supporting affidavit, told the court that the actions of the NBC, the Minister of Information, and the federal government had gravely affected his freedom of expression and that of broadcast stations, broadcasters, and other Nigerian citizens who also appear as guests on radio and television stations to express critical views about the government and public office holders. The lawyer argued that abusing or insulting the government cannot be criminalized in a democratic setting. He contended that the expression hate speech is not defined under any written law and cannot be invoked or penalized based on capricious expectations of the respondents. He said that to do otherwise will amount to setting fire to the Constitution, and that those who are paid with taxpayers' money cannot be insulated or shaded from insult and abuse by those who pay them, who are the citizens. The activists reminded the court that Nigeria has passed the era of colonialism and military dictatorship. He said that Lai Mohammad, NBC, and the federal government were seeking to subvert Nigeria's constitutional democracy with the attendant liberties and forced a civilian dictatorship on the country. The lawyer therefore prayed the court to make a declaration that broadcast stations in Nigeria, broadcasters, guests, and callers during radio and television programs are entitled to a fair trial before a court of competent jurisdiction as guaranteed by Section 36 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, the Article 7 of the African Charter on Human Rights and People's Rights, Ratification and Enforcement Act, Cap A9 LFN 2004, before a sentence of fine or other penalties can be imposed on them over comments, views, or opinions expressed on radio and television. He further prayed the court to make an order of perpetual injunction restraining NBC, the Minister of Information and the federal government from imposing fines or other penalties on broadcast stations in Nigeria for comments or opinions expressed by citizens during radio or television programs. The lawyer also asked the court to nullify and set aside the penalty of fine or other penalties imposed on broadcast station by the NBC. Effiong equally asked the court should set aside broadcasting code and any amendment made thereto which purpose to prohibit, criminalize, or penalize comments or views expressed by citizens about the government and public office holders considered by NBC, Lai Mohammad, and the federal government to be abusive, insulting, or hate speech. All right, that's basically what the news is, and they're saying that the young man is a lawyer have decided to take the bulls by the horns. And look, if Nigerians will not react, he will react. As a lawyer, he knows his right, and he is contesting it. He's taking the federal government to court. Not just the federal government; he's also taking Commissioner Lai Mohammad, the Minister for Information and Culture. All right, Nigerians, one or two Nigerians have reacted to this matter, and it's quite interesting. This one here is saying, eternal vigilance is the price of liberty. God bless you, Barrister Effiong, for looking out for Nigerians. Okay. This one here is saying, good development. The voice of the people cannot be muzzled or stifled in a democratic setting. It's only a dictator who does that. Trump would have closed down CNN and its affiliates and arrested all the dissenting voices under his government, which is actually very true. You need to see some of the interviews that they hold against Trump. As in, whenever Trump is having interview, conference briefings, conferences and press briefings, it's always very wonderful. Those journalists, they give it to him hot, as in really hot. They don't spare him. They say the mind of the citizens, and most times, sometimes Donald Trump, the president, has to, give it to them to as a citizen. It's a free flow. Honestly, those are one of the beautiful things about very developed countries. You express yourself within some jurisdictions, of course, but I feel that looking at what it is now, Nigerians may be a bit maybe finding it a bit difficult to express themselves freely, being that there's a fine of 5 million. How many Nigerians can afford 5 million? Some of them say they've not even seen 1 million their entire life, and all of a sudden, because of what you just said casually, you're going to pay 5 million. It's not funny, really. So 500,000 is big for a lot of Nigerians. How much more 5 million? So a lot of Nigerians will instead of talking or expressing themselves, they'll just give this one, that song that fella used to sing, suffering and smiling. You can't talk. You'll be suffering. They talk to you, just be smiling. You can't talk. If you talk, that's hate speech. So generally, it has gone a step further to make it legalized. Okay, but let's take one or two more comments here. This one is a good move. Let's see how it plays out. Freedom of speech is my fundamental human right. That's the beauty about life. But that's where we're going to wrap it up. What's your take on this? This is a young man. I don't know if our judiciary is really independent the way it ought to be. If not, then we are looking at something nice. But if it's not independent, then I'm afraid we are just running in circles. That's where we're going to wrap it up. Let's meet in our comment section. What's your take on this move by this young man? With balls, I must say. Suing the federal government, Lai Mohammad, and of course NBC. Let's interact in our comment section. Stay tuned for more updates on this, so much more.